We'll see who counts the food.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a friggin' Monday. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Holiday, DJ Dub. Good evening. Welcome in, friends. I'm not high enough for this shit. Flash. Welcome. Unnamed Destiny Orbiter stream. Was it Wick? I mean, I don't know any other... the only streamers I know are the ones that I've had interactions with. But you say Destiny Orbiter, and I just automatically think it's Wick, right? My lord. Good evening. But that could be... it could be a number of people to call them Destiny Orbiters. Postmodern Prometheus. Welcome in, my friend. Can a man just enjoy his ketamine nasal spray without judgment? No. Not high enough for this shit. Let's get high. Smokey is right behind my monitor. Now, for those of you unaware, it's completely dark back here. I have a light shining right. You see the light right there? So, Smokey was hidden back there. He, like, licked his lips. And I realized he was back there, and it was very jarring. Because he's just, like, right over top of my monitor, staring at me. Hey, buddy. He's been very needy. He's been very needy. It's storming, and he likes to be cuddled when it's storming. I got another cat over here doing crazy shit. The closet door. What are you doing, Bubby? Insanity. Smokey's a nihilist who's also a Western chauvinist. Speaking of big streamers that aren't me, one Hassan Piker was arrested or detained coming back into the country. Apparently a lot of people are talking about that. Also, a man was pulled out of his car in Nashville over the weekend. We have video of it. Charges have been dropped against the student, but she is still in ICE custody. I wrongly said that she was drunk driving the other day. I think I was confusing that with a different arrest. She had made a wrong turn. But now we're getting new details. Apparently she wasn't even driving the car. I have wild video of two children, 7 and 10, I think were their ages, heavily armed in a shootout with the cops. Only in fucking America. Fuzzy Simba, welcome in. The trial started today for one Mr. P. Diddy. A university linebacker was apparently distraught when he wrecked and killed multiple people in Tampa Bay. I think is where that occurred. Byronic, Ducky, welcome in. ICE's account of the events leading to the arrest of Newark Mayor Ross Baraka. I guess Prometheus knows the story. I don't know the story yet. I haven't seen the story, but I guess you're a football fan. You're a sporty ball fan, so maybe you know the one I'm talking about. It was a college sporty ball. We got Trump versus a reporter on his acceptance of a Qatari jet. Republicans proposing major cuts to Medicaid. Dems asking for a review of Trump's firing of the head of Library of Congress. We got American hostages. The last American hostage released was being held by Hamas. For some reason, we're being invaded by white South Africans. I don't like this. If we're going to deport people, we're going to not allow anybody into our country. I'm thinking white South Africans are the very group we need to target. India, Pakistan meeting to discuss the next steps following a ceasefire. A woman drove through a festival, and a man on a moped drove through a pet store. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Lo-Fi, welcome in. Deport Israelis and white South Africans. Unfortunately, the thing with Israelis, a lot of them have dual citizenship. That's the shitty part. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. It is Monday. I'm going to try to rush through the news because I want to get to music. I say that and then it's going to be like a 4-hour Troll Patrol. Princess Kimberly, good evening. I would like to get to music, and since I played the video last night of Metallica causing a earthquake at Lane Stadium and Blacksburg, we're going to do the Metallica 72 Seasons Tour. They've been putting 2 or 3 videos up from each of their concert stops and kind of switching it up. So we're going to do, I think, pretty much a whole set list. I looked it over. I think we're going to get a really good taste of what the 72 Seasons Tour entailed. I kind of know a little bit about how Metallica does their set lists. So I think I arranged it in a way that would be indicative of their set list for the tour, which changes, by the way. They do 2 shows in each city. If you don't know how it works, it's really cool. They have 2 stops in each city, and each night they do a different set list. So if you go both nights, you get a completely different experience, and I love that. I didn't engage in any kind of dual loyalty anti-Semitic trope. It is a fact. It is a fact that a lot of these people that have Israeli citizenship also have dual American citizenship. Crazy fact that a lot of people don't know. Benjamin Netanyahu is from Pennsylvania. That trips a lot of people out. The big news today, though, was Trump's announcement of apparent trade deal with China, which, as I understand it, is pretty much just pausing everything that he had threatened to do. There's not really a trade deal. What was New Jersey? Oh, is Netanyahu from New Jersey? I thought it was Pennsylvania. Maybe it is New Jersey. You might be right, Byronic. Hold on. Oh, Bibi Netanyahu. To be fair, he was born in Tel Aviv. Yep, raised in Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. Cheltenham Township, Pennsylvania was where he was raised. It's a suburb of Philadelphia. Was actually born in Tel Aviv, though. I'll give him that. But was raised in Pennsylvania. Julie, welcome in. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, it's kind of the same difference, right? Now that we have been able to get Lester to go into retirement, our next target is one Major Garrett from CBS News. Major Garrett, we're coming after you, brother. We would like to see you retire. We do not want to see you giving us the news anymore.
Well, the stock market soared as the U.S. and China agreed to roll back tariffs imposed in this tit-for-tat trade war, and doing so at least for now. There is an agreement. It's a light agreement.
Did he say titty slap trade war?
A titty slap!
Come on now.
He said titty slap trade war.
Well, the stock market soared as the U.S. and China agreed to roll back tariffs imposed in this tit-for-tat trade war, and doing so at least for now.
Oh, tit for tat.
It's a light agreement, but it will see a 90-day
tit for tat, titty slap.
Levies. Stay tuned for future details and specifics. We're going to try in this program to answer what it might mean for easing not only trade tensions between the United States and China, but worldwide. Also, the end of an 18-month ordeal. Hamas releases the last surviving American hostage held in Gaza. Edon Alexander.
I was going to do that later, Major. This is why I want Major to retire.
Step toward a ceasefire despite intense bombing today across the Gaza Strip after Alexander's release. Also, wheels up. President
No, I just want to know about the trade deal.
First
Major.
international trip, the second term in office. Stops are scheduled in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. President, while there, hopes to strengthen ties with the Gulf states and talk trade, Iran, peace with Israel, Hamas, and other pressing topics. We're going to start tonight with Willie James Inman at the White House. Willie, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Willie James.
Talk to me about the announcement from the president today and what you heard at the White House about what sounds to me to be a significant de-escalation with China and the trade.
Is it though?
Tariffs.
Yeah, Major, that's right. Good to be with you as well. We saw a significant step forward in terms of a de-escalation with that trade war between the U.S. and China, as you mentioned. Now, that tariff rate from the U.S. on imported Chinese goods have been set at 145%. As Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, outlined that it would now go down to down from 115%, so 30% a rate for those goods imported into the U.S. So that 10% baseline tariff is still there. That fentanyl.
I always thought it was Qatar, but apparently I was wrong, and it is indeed Qatar. And I find that insane.
Tariff is still there with that 30% rate. So for the next 90 days, the sides are going to negotiate and talk about a path forward towards a more significant deal. So this is at least the framework of a conversation for a deal down the road. The White House is saying this is a trade deal, but it's not necessarily that. They have an agreement to talk further. The Chinese, for their part, they are essentially going to set their tariffs at 10%. That would be down from 125%. They're also willing to open up some non-monetary trade barriers to U.S. goods into their country. So a lot more to talk about here, a lot more details to be worked out. But at least for now, the White House and the president included is pitching this as a victory to the American people.
It does not seem to be a victory. Apparently, a reporter got into it with Trump earlier today on whether he was actually just capitulating to China, letting them off the hook. Pakistan.
Violence and come here. Yeah.
Mr. President, on China,
Please.
Mr. President, thank you. Are you letting China off the hook for these 90 days, and do you really believe that they will follow through with non-tariff barriers and remove those?
Non-monetary tariffs, yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to follow through. I think they want it very badly. I think they want the deal very badly. Again, this doesn't include the steel tariffs that I put on a long time ago that Biden tried to get off, but he couldn't get them off because it was too much money. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, what a lot of people don't know, but we put on the tariffs originally. And if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have a steel industry today. Now we have a thriving steel industry. It'll be thriving much more with what we're doing because this is the next level. But it doesn't include that, doesn't include cars, doesn't include pharmaceuticals when we do that. And the reason we're doing that will be to get them to come back in the country. You know, there are, again, I always say it because a lot of people forget, but if a company like Eli Lilly, which is
Biden tried to climax them
in the United States right now. They're building many, many plants. They've already started like 7 of them, many plants, but they are not going to be tariffed. There's no tariff cost. So they're all doing that. They're all coming back to the United States. I mean, I'll tell you what, I hope I get the benefit of watching this because as president, because, you know, it takes a little while to do this stuff. And we're doing it early in the administration. If you think of it, we have, I believe, if you look at the real total, it's over $10 trillion committed for plants and factories. Other administrations haven't had $1 trillion over a 4-year period, even over an 8-year period. We have.
I've totally spaced out. What the fuck is he talking about?
In one form or the other over 2 months. Give me a break. I'm here 3, but let's give me a break on the first month. We want to get acclimated. But, you know, but if you think about it, it's really 2 months. And so in 2 months, we have an investment already of over $10 trillion. And other presidents haven't had that done over a year, over 4 years in some cases.
It has been 3.5 months. So don't let him gaslight you into thinking he's only been in office 2 months. Because, God, it's felt like it's been forever.
It's unprecedented. There's never been anything like it. It's a very exciting time in America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
It feels like he's been in office forever already, and it's only been 3.5 months. Apparently, there's this huge scandal involving their, besides the signal scandal, there's a whole other scandal brewing about his handling of the Houthis and why they've announced they've stopped. It goes into the dropping the planes in the ocean. We'll get into that shit tomorrow. But then we have the scandal with the Qatari jet. Trump accepting a jumbo jet. Also getting into it with a reporter over this.
Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet. And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. We have an Air Force One that's 40 years old. And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, stature at the time, it's not even the same ballgame. You look at some of the Arab countries and the planes they have parked alongside of the United States of America plane. It's like from a different planet. And it's close to 40 years old, might be more than 40 years old now. And we, when I first came in, I signed an order to get it built. I took it over from the Obama administration. They had originally agreed. I got the price down much lower. And then when the election didn't exactly work out the way that it should have, a lot of work was not done on the plane because a lot of people didn't know. They made change orders that were so stupid, so ridiculous. Come on, man. It ended up being a total mess, a real mess. And
I think I saw a picture of the inside, but it could have just been a picture of this is what the inside of these planes usually look like a demo, and it absolutely was gold. It was gold and like wood trim.
And when I came back, I said, by the way, what's going on with the Boeings that are coming in? Well, sir, they're way behind. And they are. They're way behind. They were way behind. Another mess that I inherited from Biden. And it's going to be a while before we get them. And I think Qatar, who has really, we've helped them a lot over the years in terms of security and safety. I think they, and very, very nicely, and I have a lot of respect for the leadership and for the leader, Qatar. And I think they knew about it because they buy Boeings. They buy a lot of Boeings. And they knew about it. And they said, we would like to do something. And if we can get a
He's just like, we're not even halfway through his rambling.
Our Defense Department to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones. I think that was a very nice gesture. Now, I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out.
He could be a stupid person.
We have 40-year-old aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy-top is astronomical. You wouldn't even believe it. So I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture. And I think it was a gesture because of the fact that we have helped and continue to, we will continue to, all of those countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and others, we keep them safe. If it wasn't for us, they probably wouldn't exist right now. And I think this was just a gesture of good faith. And I don't get it. Someday it'll be...
He's gonna get away with
them.
all of this. This is
decommission them.
Absurd.
They're talking about going to my library in years out. But I thought it was a great gesture. And it's something that was done by Ronald Reagan. They actually decommissioned the plane and he put it in his library. And it actually has made the library...
Seriously, if Obama did this, they would be
it's actually
losing their minds.
More successful. So it was good.
Do you plan to use the plane after you leave office?
No, I don't. No, it would go directly to the library after I leave office.
To his library, not that he's accepting it as a gift for the United States. It's gonna go to his library.
Fake news, right?
Why not?
Only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't.
They're not giving us a free jet. They're giving you.
400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto. When they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid.
Who gives you a putt?
Just start putting it. Then they putt it and they miss it. and their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received anything?
Not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you,
Apparently not.
you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
I don't know where we go from here. This is wild. Not the only scandal. Of course, it's not the only scandal. I detailed another scandal before we. God damn, it's Major Garrett again. Why did I do this? Shut up, Major.
Democrat on the House Administration Committee has requested an investigation into the Trump administration's communications with the Library of Congress and its employees. This after the sudden firing of Dr. Carla Hayden, who was in the 9th year of her 10-year term as the Librarian of Congress. I'm going to bring in CBS
Major L over here.
Correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, always good to see you.
I don't like Scott McFarland, Eddie Munster, and Major Garrett.
Topic at the Library of Congress.
No, we are not.
But here we are.
These are flashpoint-heavy times.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Dr. Hayden's firing was a surprise to all involved, including her employees, we're told. She was fired in a brief email from the Trump personnel office late Friday. And in the time since, the administration has named Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, Trump's former
Seriously?
lawyer, to be the acting Librarian of Congress. The issue here, though, is the rationale. There are supporters of this firing. There are detractors. The White House press secretary defended this, saying that Dr. Hayden was pushing a DEI initiative and that she was giving access to children of inappropriate books.
What?
Critics of this firing would say that's a misunderstanding of how the Library of Congress functions. It's a research library. It's Congress's research arm. It's not the town library down the street where kids go and peruse. What's more, you have to be 18 years old to get a reading card there if you're far enough along in your progress to want a reading card at the Library of Congress. In the meantime, there's an investigation that the Democrats are launching into whether
dumbest people walking the planet
branch into the Library of Congress. It's a separation of powers issue ready to boil over here.
Yeah, DJ Dub, that's what it is. They'll believe anything. They'll repeat anything. Oh, yeah, the people at the Library of Congress were giving out trans books. That's why she had to go. Oh, my God.
I was on crack.
Right. Well,
Right. What are the authorities of the executive branch to fire the Librarian of Congress?
I think they're testing them here, and we'll see if there's legal pushback. We'll see if Dr. Hayden or some surrogate is to file suit to try to challenge this. But this is in line, Major, with other firings that have been tested in the courts when the Trump administration fired government watchdogs, inspectors general, those who the president appoints have some oversight of and from Congress. This one feels like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
And just to underscore the point you made about children, access to books, this isn't like a reading corner where you can just stroll in, plop down, and pull any book off the shelf. The Library of Congress, if you've been there, and I have many times, I've used it as a research library, doesn't have elaborate security, but it has not insignificant security. Using it is a kind of process. It's not a walk-in, plop down, grab a book deal.
There's also a different dynamic to this library versus any other. In the exhaustiveness of their collection. I mean, they continue to accrue new items every day by the hundreds, if not by the thousands. They are a repository for the copyright system, so people are submitting work as part of the copyright process. So though they may not have hard copies of things available, they have a voluminous collection that would stretch many, many miles if you put the bookshelves side by side.
Voluminous. I love that word.
Before I let you go, there have been significant and restrictive changes to refugee access to this country under the Trump administration until today, when a flight of refugees from South Africa.
He did it to me again. Stop stepping on my dick, Major. I'm gonna get to that story. That don't go together. That Library of Congress thing don't go together, Major. I'm going to stop using CBS as a resource. Before we get there, we got to talk about Trump's other major announcement today. As I understand this one, I've not looked into it to confirm this. This was the same EO that Biden issued. Trump reversed it. Now he's reversing his reversal and then claiming credit for it. As I said he would do with many of the Biden initiatives.
Come on, man.
With Trump announcing a favored nations clause for drug negotiation. We're going to hear from a pharmacist in Texas, I believe.
President Trump this morning signing an executive order that he says will lower the price we all pay for prescription drugs.
Yeah, that's right. Caribe Devine is standing by now with how this will all work. Caribe?
Hi, guys. The order directs the Department of Health and Human Services to find price-cutting goals in 30 days and then start negotiations between the administration and the drug makers. This measure is expected to face some significant legal challenges. A White House official said that the action makes a promise to crack down on other countries' quote unreasonable practices that suppress drug prices. The administration's executive order would apply to a wide range of drugs and prices in the commercial market. It would include Medicare and Medicaid. The Department of Health and Human Services.
Yeah, apparently in some bizarre way they're going to try to pressure other countries to lift their regulations on the pricing of drugs. That they're not trying to make drugs cheaper here. They're trying to make drugs more expensive in other countries.
Would work to negotiate lower prices. If that does not produce results, HHS would implement the most favorable nation rule. The controversial policy from Trump's first term would work to reduce drug costs by basing payments for certain medications on their prices in other countries. The quote most favored nation was previously finalized late in 2020. However, it was blocked by federal courts and then rescinded by then President Joe Biden.
So doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize, where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that and help them. But it's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price.
That's a good thing. I'm into that. That works. But not apparently how this is implemented.
That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay.
So Trump's executive order comes as the administration has been considering imposing tariffs on pharmaceutical imports, which could spark shortages of certain drugs. In a post on Truth Social, the president didn't specify whether the order would apply to Medicaid and Medicare or other government programs. The pharmaceutical industry has estimated implementing the plan for Medicaid and what it would cost one industry trillions of dollars over the next decade. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Will that come back to us, the people who are paying insurance and paying for drugs? And so let's talk about it. Joining us now is Teresa Dickinson. You are the owner of Melrose Pharmacy, an independent pharmacy. We don't see a ton of those anymore. Thank you for being here. So obviously you've seen this, you saw this announcement today. What's your first thought? Can this lower drug prices if it goes into effect?
It absolutely can, and it is very exciting to hear about this. As an independent pharmacy, drug prices have been out of control for far too long, and it's hurt our patients. So I'm glad that
we should just nationalize them.
And that President Trump is taking a focus on handling it. There is a lot to be done, and it will be very exciting to see what happens.
Now, when you say obviously out of control, we are talking sometimes these costly prescription drugs, they can be 10 times, here as they are in other parts of the country.
More than 10 times, sometimes as much as 33 1/3% more.
But then you take my 75% chance of winning and then add 66 2/3%. I got 141 2/3 chance of winning.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on. We're hearing a lot of different things about this. It does not sound like he is re-implementing the Biden strategy of actually letting Medicaid negotiate with drug providers. I don't know what his EO does. And I don't know that he knows. And once again, like, it got blocked the first time around.
Why is that?
So let's reserve judgment. Bagheera.
Pharmacies like yours.
Well, I get my prices dictated to me by the pharmacy benefit managers or the PBMs. So they tell me what my pricing is. So I won't get to choose my pricing.
So there's no effect for you guys.
For me, no. Unless President Trump gets into the area of deciding to get into the PBMs, because those are hands down the reason why our healthcare costs are so high. No other country has the PBMs but us. And that's shows in a problem that we have. But if we get these drug prices fixed, then, you know, it's going to help our patients.
You bring up this PBM, and I think I was never aware that this position existed. So you've got drug manufacturers who make the drugs, right? And you sell the drugs, correct?
Correct.
So this person is the middleman in between. What is their job? And you keep talking about this PBM.
Skim money.
This may be one of the issues that you're having in the industry.
Yeah, so the PBM is the person on your insurance card when you go to the pharmacy. It's usually Caremark, Express Scripts, or Optum. They dictate the price to the pharmacy. They dictate to the manufacturer what the manufacturer is going to charge. So then they actually get a kickback and a rebate that they make the manufacturer raise the price, sometimes as high as $600 every single prescription every month for one patient.
So is this someone who works for the insurance companies out of the PBM?
So they're a middleman.
No, it's another middleman.
Now they're owned by the insurance company. So Caremark owns CVS, owns Aetna, now owns doctors' offices. So they've been allowed to merge and take control of the whole system.
And that's a vertical monopoly. Vertical integration in business when you own all the different provider. If like CVS is making sure that they're rigging it with this PBM to make sure they're all making as much money as possible.
This hasn't been talked about so much because we always blame Big Pharma.
Yeah, it's a very complicated issue to understand.
It's not just Big Pharma.
A very powerful lobby that protect them, and then they have congressmen that they pay. So, you know, it's just getting to the right person.
We should nationalize it.
Contributions, and President Trump even mentioned that.
The government could produce all of these drugs, do it cheaper, and sell it without making a profit and provide us with the savings. That's what we should do. That is what government should do. We should have government provide us services that would be beneficial like that instead of letting companies make profit off of it.
Contributions can go a long way towards this. Some of the challenges of owning a pharmacy that's independent.
I'm getting paid below my cost on $17,000 a month on brand name medications. So the PBMs are dictating that price to me, my contract, and that's what I have to accept. So independents are going out of business.
That's what she has to accept.
The state now. So it's a huge problem. An independent Fairmont pharmacy just went out of business 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
I appreciate you coming in and talking.
Yes. And, Big
business
business tries to run out the little guys, your competition.
Business. And all of us
yes.
at the same time. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Teresa.
It's almost like that's a symptom of capitalism as well. It's so frustrating that all these shows, you know, they diagnose these problems but don't have the proper prescription for it. Can't because the advertisers on their station would flip the fuck out if they actually properly told you the cure for these issues they keep bringing up. Get so close to the point. This happened in Nashville on Saturday. More shocking video of the police state. Everybody warned was coming.
Now we have new
We warned you.
ICE operation last night in Antioch. It was on Harding Place and Antioch Pike. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security confirmed to us an operation did happen last night. You can see in this video ICE agents and state troopers taking a man into custody. We're working to learn more about this.
Just snatching up an old man at a MAPCO.
Last night's activity.
A startling.
55-year-old man was pulled from his car and detained on his birthday early on Saturday morning as part of an ongoing immigration enforcement in South Nashville. Eduardo David Campos is now in custody at the Putnam County Jail, and as of Saturday night, no charges have been filed. We're just snatching up people and holding them without charges. This is America. Freedom, fuck yeah. Bystander Denora Romero captured his arrest on video in the parking lot of a gas station. You see the other individuals asking the troopers, like, what are their names? What are they doing? What was the reason to pull them over? And then out of nowhere, they were just like, we got to do something. And they start taking the man out of the car. We start yelling to him, you have rights. Don't get out of the car. Can I pop this out? They might want me to sign into Instagram. No, we're good. We're good.
Please back up. Please back up. Please back up. Please back up. I'm gonna ask you to stay back. Please stay back.
What are you doing? No diga nada. No diga nada. No firme nada. No diga nada. No firme nada. No diga nada. Y'all wrong as hell. Y'all are wrong.
So it wasn't even pulled over for anything. No crime committed.
No firme nada, no diga nada. What y'all are doing is illegal. This is kidnapping. Get the out of Nashville. No diga nada, no firme nada. Tiene derechos. No diga nada, no firme.
Witnesses say the man was pulled from the vehicle and detained. Antioch, Tennessee. Something was to happen to my parent or my uncle, my cousin, anybody, I would want to know. This is according to one of the witnesses. They're taking them, not letting no family member know where they're going. She says she was able to get in touch with his family and tell them where he had been taken. She then returned to his now abandoned car. She returned his now abandoned car to his home. I have never met this man in my life, never, not even his wife. But I think about my family, and everyone should think that way, especially the Hispanic community. This could be your brother. This could be your dad. This could be your grandpa, your uncle. We have to have a heart. Romero first learned about the ICE operations in her community last week from videos on social media, just pulling over random Hispanics. Anybody that looked brown or looked like me, they would literally pull them over just to see. They would ask them, do they speak English? How long have they been here? She says not long after that, she experienced the ICE operations firsthand. The first time she was pulled over, she says the trooper told her her headlight was out and let her go with just a traffic warning. But later in the week, she says she was stopped again. I was riding down Murfreesboro Road going towards Briley. I seen state troopers pull somebody over, so I turned around and I tell the Hispanic man, because he's already detained, handcuffs and everything, like he was already speaking to them. So I tell him, like, don't say nothing, don't sign nothing. You have a right to remain silent. She says it was after a few other similar interactions that night that a state trooper pulled her over. These are the rights that Hispanic immigrants don't know, Romero said. It's like they do not want them to know. So I feel as a U.S. citizen that comes from immigrant parents, in my heart, I have to help them because they have rights. They're clueless. They're scared. It's cruel. So when I tell the second man on Nolensville, don't say anything, they let him go and pull me over right after. The second time, she said she was given a citation. That didn't stop her from speaking up when she saw Campos being detained early on Saturday morning. My mom always taught me growing up, if you see something wrong, you can speak the language, speak up, and defend these people. The amount of people in this country failing an open book history test is appalling. A week or so ago, we did the story of a student in Georgia. He went to Dalton College. I wrongly said that she had been drinking and driving. I got that wrong. I was confusing it with another story. She apparently made a wrong turn and was pulled over. But now we're learning she might not have even been driving the vehicle that made the wrong turn. She has had all charges dropped against her, but is still in ICE custody in Georgia.
The Dalton City Attorney saying tonight they have dropped all charges against the 19-year-old student from Dalton who is still in ICE custody.
Originally, Dalton police say they pulled over Jimena Arias Cristobal after she made an illegal right turn at an intersection. They said she did not have a driver's license. Multiple law enforcement agencies say her arrest during that traffic stop started a series of events that landed her in an ICE detention center near Columbus, Georgia.
Well, tonight, Dalton City Attorney says they have reviewed evidence against Arias Cristobal, and they say police stopped the wrong vehicle that night.
He says they are dropping charges against her as she faces an upcoming bond hearing. News Channel 9's Mary Beth Mangrum joins us now to tell us more about these developments. Mary Beth.
Josh, Kim, this is a look at the arrest of 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal. It's something that the city of Dalton is now saying should not have happened. That's after a review of the dash cam footage showed Dalton police stopping the wrong truck. The city of Dalton is dismissing Jimena Arias Cristobal's charges because this black truck in the beginning of the video is the one police should have stopped. According to the city, once out of the dash cam's view, the officers saw that truck make an illegal right-hand turn onto Thornton Avenue. That officer tries to pursue it, but must stop at the red light. After the officer is able to make that turn, Arias Cristobal is pulled over in this dark gray Dodge truck. But he passes the truck police say made that illegal right turn just moments before.
Wow.
Arias Cristobal say the truck belongs to a close family friend and attempt to call that friend as well as her mother. You can also hear discussion about the Georgia state law we told you about last week that led to Arias Cristobal being taken into custody.
So in the state of Georgia, when you drive without a license, you know what happens? Have you ever been to jail? Oh, you're going. All right, go ahead and turn around for me. You have to go to jail by the state of Georgia. Hands behind your back.
Can I call my mom?
Yeah, we'll call your mom.
The city of Dalton will hold a news conference at 7 p.m. with more information on this, and we'll have full coverage on newschannel9.com.
I read that she wasn't even driving the vehicle, but it does look like she was the driver. I don't know how that's possible that she wasn't the driver, but also they're dropping the charges.
Mother, you can also hear discussion about the Georgia state law we told you about last
She seemed to be the only person in the vehicle.
Cristobal being taken into custody.
So in the state of Georgia, when you drive without a license, you know what happens? Have you ever been to jail? Oh, you're going. All right, go ahead and turn around for me. You have to go to jail by the state of Georgia. Hands behind your back.
Well, we're just locking up innocent people. They've done nothing wrong.
We'll hold a news conference at 7 p.m. with more information on this, and we'll have full coverage on newschannel9.com. Meanwhile, Arias Cristobal will have a bond hearing on May 20th. We asked attorney Dustin Baxter about what would happen if that bond was granted. And he tells us if she is released on bond, her case will be transferred to a non-detained immigration court and set for a new hearing, likely a year or two from now.
Wow.
We have the full dash cam videos and full coverage of Arias Cristobal's arrest at newschannel9.com. Kim?
Mary Beth, thank you.
Oh, that news conference taking place just a little bit ago.
He wants to take his show out. That's the spelling of my name. I know it's sometimes
Apparently, this is the full video that we saw the piece of on the news station. Let's go over. This is Arias Cristobal. The wrong vehicle being pulled over. This news conference is taking place like an hour ago, just wrapping up. I wonder, like, is she even driving the vehicle? This is dash cam footage, so we're not gonna like hear anything. This is a separate police truck that pulled up. Maybe that's the feds.
Front of the patrol car camera, that vehicle, the officer, it's out of the camera view, but the officer observed that vehicle make an illegal right turn north onto Thornton Avenue, where it is marked no right turns. The officer proceeded to pull out. As you can see, got caught in traffic behind another vehicle, waited until he had the proper.
It was so dumb that he
to turn right.
pulled over the wrong vehicle.
Before he got into traffic, multiple vehicles had the chance to get in front of him, in between him and the vehicle that was the offending vehicle. Miss Arias Cristobal was driving a dark gray pickup truck. Obviously, the one that passed in front of him was a dark colored pickup truck as well. And the officer was looking for the truck and ended up stopping the vehicle that he believed was the offender vehicle once he caught up to it. And as you could tell, the audio recording came in. Again, because of the way our camera system's set up, we have to recharge those body packs. Once it came on is when you saw the audio come on, once he got it out of the cradle where it was charging. And that's what you saw, and all the way to the conclusion there at the end when he informs her of what she's going to be arrested for. So I think we can probably take a few questions. I mean, there are obviously some questions I can't answer that don't have to deal with kind of our part of this, but if there are some questions, I will answer them if I can. If I can't, then I'll kind of let you know.
Hi, Chief. Thank you to Diego from Dalton State to try to logically think of what I'm going to say. It's a two-part question, more of a statement. After watching that footage, I mean, just how livid it feels as a member of, I guess, when you be undocumented, someone who got through the process, someone who does so much for this town, for the city, the officer's demeanor, even the chant, the reason for pulling over.
Remember, this is a young lady that was brought here when she was 4.
Sense for that to have been the truck based on the timing. So I guess my question first is one of accountability. I mean,
Does not qualify for DACA.
pulling that false truck over, it makes no sense to even consider.
And there's apparently no legal path to citizenship for her available.
I mean, the community of Dalton, we know how it is.
But it's just as American as you or I. Now tell me how that makes any sense.
This has put such a black stain on our community here, Hispanic community for sure, larger community as well. There's such a black stain now just because of this situation. Jimena, there's nobody in this community that didn't have something.
Larry, welcome in.
And now her life is essentially ruined because of an unnecessary officer mistake. Is there any type of accountability that is planned, any type of community outreach that is planned? Could you speak on that?
Well, I mean, I can't certainly give you the plans of what we have going forward. We do have an internal review process which is in place and has been started.
I don't think we're going to get any information out of this press conference. But they have dropped the charges against her. The police report says officers pulled Arias Cristobal over after she turned right, blah, blah, blah. But Baxter says the city attorney contacted him to let him know the footage he reviewed shows the police stopped the wrong vehicle. But she remains in ICE custody. So, yeah, we didn't learn anything new out of this. Oh, no, she's still in ICE custody. She still faces deportation. Just the driving on a without a license has been dropped. Well, that's the darndest thing, isn't it? Apparently, Hassan Piker was detained by Customs and Borders Protection for hours of questioning upon returning to the U.S. from a trip to France this weekend. Piker posted about the incident on Twitter and later talked about it on his stream. He was detained in Chicago and questioned for 2 hours about protected journalistic activities like who he's interviewed and his political beliefs. He was asked whether or not he'd interviewed Hamas, Houthis, or Hezbollah members. He was questioned about his opinions on Trump and Israel and asked about his history of bans on Twitch. His phone and laptop were not confiscated. They straight up tried to get something out of me that I think they could use to basically detain me permanently, Piker said on his stream following the incident. Do we have the video?
Mentioned that, he kept saying, "Oh, well, since you mentioned that, what do you do as a job?" And
they knew.
Twitch streamer. And he's like, "Well, since you mentioned that,
they knew.
Twitch streamer, what kind of things do you stream about?" And at first I was like, do I just tell him I play video games? Because I don't think this motherfucker to believe me if I say I just play video games to him, right?
They knew.
So I was just like, yeah, I play video games.
He didn't get stopped by
current
accident.
events, sometimes drama, internet. And he's like, "Oh, do you talk about, since you mentioned that, you talk about the things that you talk about, do you talk about the news?" And I was
they knew.
News. And he kept
Lady B, welcome in.
Okay, so when you talk about the news, do you talk about the war?
Objectively, welcome.
By that, he's like, "Do you talk about Trump?" And that was the first time where I was like, "What the f is this question?" Like, I literally straight up told him, I was like, "Why are you asking me this?" Like, I was like, "What does this have to do with anything?" And
that's the entire reason they detained you.
Because they, like, the dude asked so many.
They want to chill
insane
speech
questions,
in this country.
none of which is illegal, by the way. I just need you to understand. Nothing I have done thus far is illegal, as in nothing I've done online is illegal as of now, if that makes sense. Now, laws may change in the future, and they might actually start prosecuting speech, which I do fear is the goal of this administration.
Right now, they're just trying to chill
Everything I've
speech.
done is fully protected under the First Amendment. Okay?
They're going to take any chance that they can.
These questions are actually valid questions to ask. But I was entertaining it because I didn't
try to make you think twice about what you're going to say.
Difficult because I didn't want to extend the detention, and two, I actually wanted to see how far I could take it. Maybe it was up of me to do that. Maybe it was not appropriate for me to do that, to play fast and loose with a person that has complete control over my life in that very moment. But I wanted to see, like, what
you can afford a lawyer.
What
you're the exact person that needs to be doing that shit.
Like what they were trying to take from this conversation. And so, you know, instead of
no, he should have not shut the fuck up.
Pleading the fifth, as I'm supposed to do in situations like this, I just kept.
He's the one that needs to be fucking kicking the hornet's nest.
Areas where
he's got the money and the attention to do it.
About my position, knowing full well that they know exactly what they're looking for. I saw no reason to hold back on certain things. So I said, I don't like Trump. I was like, what are you going to do? It's protected by the First Amendment. I don't like Trump. Yes. Right? Like, I was like, I'm not fond of him. I don't like him. He said he was going to end the wars. He hasn't ended the wars. What the fuck is up with that? You know? And the guy actually was very sympathetic. The agent was very sympathetic. And I don't know if it was like a JCS style interrogation technique to come across as sympathetic, to like invoke some
probably
positive feelings out of me in an effort to like get me to reveal something maybe that'll trip me up, or because he just genuinely was sympathetic and he had the vibes of someone who was like, I don't know why I'm doing this.
ACAB.
Right? But he was like, listen, I'm Iraqi, so I know. And let me tell you, I do think that him being Iraqi played a big role in this, because if he wasn't, there was a lot of editor-ass white boys that are at Customs and Border Patrol at O'Hare Airport. I saw them walk by. There was a dude who looked like he was like 25 max, but he was balding. And I knew immediately, if that my agent, I'm screwed. I'm going to CCOT. This dude is going to literally hook me. So I got a little lucky. All right.
You're not going to CCOT. You're Hassan Piker. You're very high profile. You can afford the best attorneys in the country. You're the man who has the least worry about it and should indeed be kicking the hornet's nest. Trump said he was going to end the war and he didn't. Well, that dude has no reason to have fear. Lawyers mean everything. He is a rich motherfucker. The last living hostage that was being held the last living U.S. hostage that was being held in Gaza has been returned to the U.S. Hamas has released the last living American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, as part of a deal with the U.S. Oh, I mean, that's exactly. They knew who he was. I'm certain of it. The American Israeli was serving as a soldier. Oh, he was another one of those where, you keep finding out that these people were soldiers on duty. It was almost like Hamas actually took military prisoners and not hostages. The American Israeli was serving as a soldier near the Gaza border when taken by Hamas on October 7th. Silent, welcome in. Arab officials say Hamas-Israel negotiations are on track to pause fighting and release additional hostages. I hope. A crowd of Alexander's supporters gathered in his hometown of New Jersey to celebrate. Alexander's release comes ahead of President Trump's first trip to the Middle East since being re-elected.
They thought he was dead just a short while ago. His parents are so happy. They're so happy. So it's, as you know, Eden's the only American citizen is captured and held hostage by Hamas since October 7th, 2023.
Hamas.
And he's coming home to his parents.
Quesadilla.
Yes, I mean, to me, it's big news.
Yeah, not having a photo of him in his military uniform was a choice by the Wall Street Journal. Indeed. Once again, back to people that, need to be deported from the country. Israelis. White South Africans. For some reason, we're bringing in white South Africans. What's up with that?
Nearly 60 white South Africans were admitted into the United States. It's part of President Donald Trump's resettlement program for white Afrikaners, largely descendants of Dutch and French colonial settlers in South Africa. Afrikaners also led the racist apartheid government there until it ended in 19...
Yes, that's the key.
Alleges that a new South African law, which redistributes unused land to the state, is racist, and that the white minority is being persecuted by the black-led government. President Trump even halted all aid to South Africa.
That's hilarious.
Applications from these white families were fast-tracked by the administration, even as it suspended the U.S. refugee resettlement program, leaving thousands of approved refugees worldwide stranded. Joining us now is Bill Freilich, the head of the Refugee and Migrants Rights Division at Human Rights Watch.
I bet you're right, Fuzzy.
So President Trump was asked about the classification of these families as refugees. Here's what he had to say about conditions in South Africa.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about.
What?
It's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers.
What does make a difference because of the history?
Brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated.
Oh my God!
White farmers being brutally killed, their land being confiscated. What do you make of these allegations of white genocide, as the president has said, as we know Elon Musk has said before, and the classification of these families as refugees?
Yeah. Well, this is not factually supported from any of the information that we've seen. The expropriation law that you mentioned only came into effect in January. And it is stated that it is for non-compensation for private land that would go into public hands if that land has been unused, if there's nobody living and working on that land or developing it. And so far, of course,
Mogi over here, turn up my sound bar.
So there have been homicide rates that
yes, it's all a neo-Nazi conspiracy theory.
I think it was like 13,000 in 2023, but only single digits were farmers that were killed. Now, you don't want anyone to be killed, and I don't want to disparage any one person's story, but we don't have the phenomenon of people fleeing the country as we do with refugees all over the world. There are about 38 million refugees in the
dumbest timeline.
By definition, are people who've crossed an international border because they're fleeing persecution, they're fleeing war, they're fleeing conflict, and there are no Afrikaner.
I am not high enough for this shit.
For refugees didn't refer any South Africans of any background, of any race, of any language for resettlement in the last year. So this is something really new and different from anything we've seen.
And the families who arrived today were approved in a
Torchy, welcome in.
We understand they were flown over on a State Department chartered flight. Is that the usual process for refugee resettlement?
No, I mean, one, you often have refugees that have spent years and years in refugee camps.
It was a New Jersey heavy show last night. I was sad you weren't here.
Less than 1% are ever even referred for third country resettlement. They have.
Oh, I'm sure Elon
vetting, security screening,
put the notion in Trump's head,
screening to make sure that they actually
or help solidify it and galvanize the support.
People that have great difficulties in the country of first asylum. They're people that have difficulties in the refugee camps in which they're living. Maybe they're being persecuted in the country of first arrival as well. So these are circumstances that you would assess on a case-by-case basis. And that takes a long period of time to do. This was done in 3 months, and these are people that came directly from their country of origin. They were not people that were living in refugee camps. They were not people that were vetted by the UN Refugee Agency or referred to the United States in the normal way. And they were flown here in chartered planes paid for directly by the U.S.
Wow.
International Organization for Migration that does travel loans that refugees are expected to pay back, actually, upon arrival.
As we speak, we know the Trump administration has ended deportation protections for a number of countries, people from Afghanistan, Haiti, Sudan. The refugee resettlement program, as we noted, has been halted.
I wonder if any of them gave money to Trump.
Here, white South Africans have been allowed in, while people from majority black and brown countries have been kept out. What do you see when you look at these policies?
Clearly, there's a racial twist here.
Absolutely.
Again, going in the first Trump administration, where he described Haitians as coming from four-letter word countries.
Shitholes.
That he said he wanted people that looked like Norwegians to come to the United States. And in 2018, long before the Russians had invaded Ukraine, under the first Trump administration, the group that he chose to increase the refugee numbers were Ukrainians, while there was a dramatic decrease, slashing of refugee numbers in Africa, in the Middle East, and in the rest of the world. And so now we've seen a complete closing of the door, a total suspension of the refugee resettlement program for all refugees everywhere. And then 18 days later, another executive order that privileges only white South Africans.
Bill Freilich from Human Rights Watch.
Well, thank you, Bill from Human Rights Watch. India and Pakistan scheduling a meeting to see how they move forward with their ceasefire, discuss the next steps. It is the heads of both militaries meeting
India and
I think later today.
a ceasefire deal after firing a series of missiles Saturday. India says this is just a pause on military action and it will resume fighting if Pakistan attacks again. So let's go to our breaking news correspondent, Chanel Call, in the CBS newsroom in New York. So Chanel, can you explain the terms of the ceasefire agreement to us?
Well, let's start with what happened this weekend, because just hours after the two sides agreed to that ceasefire you mentioned on Saturday, explosions reportedly rang out in border cities and towns. We saw artillery fire and attack drones. They were in Jammu and Kashmir, which is basically the center of a lot of this fighting. And some cities were also under blackout. India accuses Pakistan of violating that pact, while the foreign ministry in Pakistan said the country was committed to the ceasefire. Now, this deal included stopping all military actions on land, in the air, and in the sea. By Saturday afternoon, our time, things did seem to calm down. And for the last 2 days or so, it's been sort of quiet on both sides of the border. This morning, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation, saying India has only paused its military action and will retaliate on its own terms if there is any other future terror attack in the country. He says India will not tolerate any, quote, nuclear blackmail. And this is key, Jules, because both India and Pakistan, we know, are nuclear-armed nations. President Donald Trump, who actually shared news of the India-Pakistan ceasefire deal on Saturday before the leaders of those countries did, today took credit for the breakthrough.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one.
A permanent one.
Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. We stopped the nuclear conflict. I think it could have been a bad nuclear war. Millions of people could have been killed, so I'm very proud of that.
And Jules, remember, these two countries have a...
He's very proud of it.
But I want to note that this recent spate, again, started on April 22nd. You'll remember that is when 26 people were killed in a terror attack on Hindu tourists in Kashmir. India has said that Pakistan was behind that attack. And then, 2 weeks later, India then attacked what it said was terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. And that prompted days of cross-border fire. This notably has been the worst fighting between the two countries, India and Pakistan, in almost 3 decades.
Wow. Chanel, thank you.
I don't know what those pants were. Anonymously, welcome in. We're going to bring it back home. The next few stories are kind of gruesome. If you've got a weak constitution, you might want to give us about 20 minutes. I also don't think you guys want to miss out on the armed children having a live standoff with police. But maybe you do. I don't know. Socialist Daunt, welcome in. First up, though, apparently a father is believed to have killed his entire family on his son's high school graduation day. This happened in Dawson County, Nebraska.
An update in a story we brought you at 6. The Nebraska State Patrol says they're investigating an apparent triple murder-suicide in rural Dawson County. According to NSP, this morning at approximately 9:45 a.m.
Not much else to do in Nebraska.
Was dispatched to a residence at Johnson Lake. Upon arrival, deputies found 4 deceased individuals, all who were residents of the home. The deceased had been identified as Jeremy, Bailey, Hudson, and Asher Coach. Following preliminary investigation, NSP believes 42-year-old Jeremy killed each of his sons, 18 and 16 years old, and his wife, Bailey, 41 years old, before taking his own life. All 4 were found with fatal knife wounds, and a knife was found at the scene. NSP is leading the investigation. The Dawson County attorney has...
He did it with a knife. He stabbed them all to death. Wow. Brutal.
Sons, 18 and 16 years old, and his wife, Bailey, 41 years old, before taking his own life. All 4 were found with fatal knife wounds, and a knife was found at the scene. NSP is leading the investigation. The Dawson County attorney has ordered autopsies for all 4 of the deceased. According to a GoFundMe account, one of the sons was set to graduate from Cozad Community Schools today. The district posted about the tragedy to social media, and during the commencement, Superintendent Dan Endorf spoke briefly on the matter.
As you know, our community and this senior class experienced a tragedy within the past few hours. The bittersweet emotions felt by the senior class on their graduation day, and throughout this entire gymnasium for that matter, cannot be concealed at this moment and are emblematic of the adult lives our graduates are about to begin.
Bailey was an active advocate for Jeremy's mental health.
This is a picture of the family. Poor kid. Kids. Family said that Koch's mental health issues dated back to at least 2009 and included multiple suicide attempts. In 2015, the family began publicly sharing their struggles in an effort to reduce stigma and advocate for others. Bailey, an author and early contributor to the parenting website Her View from Home, launched her own Facebook page to raise awareness about mental illness and offer hope to others in similar situations. Bailey wrote that her husband's condition worsened significantly in 2024. On May 3rd, she said Koch had survived at least 4 suicide attempts. Bailey said the situation became dire in March when she woke to Koch standing over her with a knife saying something is wrong. She said she was able to de-escalate the situation and convince him to seek help. After ending electroconvulsive therapy treatments earlier in the year, Bailey said Koch had become a shell of himself. Wow. Yeah, tragic. Damn. That one was a real bummer. Makes it kind of hard for me to get excited about this one. Lenny, good evening. Back in February, 2 young boys in New Mexico were armed, got into a shootout with the cops. Single digit ages, armed to the teeth, getting into a shootout with the cops.
341, 131. We're going to be on the north side of the house.
Yeah.
Right. You guys? And 394 has the eyes with the drone. It is going to be...
Just go ahead and drop that.
Put it down, babe. Go ahead and put it down.
Okay, maybe they weren't armed to the teeth. They just got one handgun.
Talk to us, all right?
If there's a magazine inside the magazine well.
Put it down,
But
baby.
they're playing with the gun back and forth. The one in the blue is trying to take it from the one in the orange.
Put it down, baby.
Just drop it, buddy.
Put it down, babe. You're okay. Put it down,
And
okay?
now the kid in the
We wanna
blue
put
and
all
green
these
has
away,
a
but we
firearm.
need you to put it down, baby.
Let's not do that, bud. Because of the shield.
Well, let's not do that. Let's take our hand off, buddy.
I was under the impression that these kids were
He said he has
badasses that were shooting at the cops.
394 has a shield. If you do need one, someone else come back for it.
down and come and talk to me.
Violently American.
You're not in trouble, buddy.
You're not in trouble, buddy, yet.
Huh?
we'll show you how.
I know. Can you put it down for me?
Just put it down.
You're not going to be in trouble, okay?
Just put it on the ground, bud. Come talk to us. You're not in trouble.
394, who has it?
Can you put it on the ground for me, bud?
The one in the blue. One in the green. It's going to be in his left hand. He does have his finger on the trigger right now.
Hey!
Put it down!
Put it
Don't
down,
do
buddy.
that!
I'm
Put it down, baby!
Come on. It's coming up to you guys. Okay.
Eugene! Put it down, babe!
341. Yeah, back up.
Can you lift
You want 40 on that side? If so, I would go ahead and 40 him.
Fuck, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, my wing porch for us.
Just wait. Let's try to keep talking with them.
Wow. Watch the video coming up.
I know.
Eugene, put it down, babe, okay? Can you put it down for me so we can talk? Can you do that for me? Because you're doing a really good job right now. So if you could just put it down, I would appreciate that.
You're not doing a good job at all. Take out a couple cops. Then you'd be doing a good job.
I would go ahead and 40 him. Try to knock it out of his arm.
You're minors.
Hold on. What I want you to do is I want you to hit beside them.
Hit the wall.
I want you to hit the wall.
Hey, put that. Just keep it down.
Sean!
Down.
Why would it be loaded?
Hey, you got to do what he says.
How is a gun in a position where it is loaded and a kid is holding it? Let alone a gun holding a gun, or a kid holding a gun.
Hold on a second. Give it a second.
This isn't even the first time we've showed kids waving guns around.
Yeah, that's simple. We tried to talk them down. They're refusing to put the gun down.
If you can, ricochet it on the bottom of that wall into their feet.
Not
Maybe
with
he'll
the
listen.
cannon. If he puts the cannon down, will you put it down?
Okay?
So just
Try not to
put
hit
the
him.
gun down and we'll show you the cannon.
He's not going to shoot you, babe. Put it down.
The kid in the Star Wars shirt had better trigger discipline.
Facing it down. Now you put the gun down. Okay?
It seems like they're talking about shooting the kids.
Listen, okay, babe? We don't want to hurt you, honey. Can you put it on the floor? It's still going to be right by you, but if you put it down on the floor, then he could keep his cannon down.
Cannon?
The floor.
Ready and 40.
Just wait. Stand by.
The sooner you put that down, the sooner we can take you home. We can go see your mom.
Sean, this isn't a game no more. We're not playing a game right now. This is serious.
1030 speaking with 254.
I need you to put that down.
We want to help you, Sean. You tell me what you need after you put it down, and I'll make sure that we get you some whatever you need, okay?
We're just going to wait for a second.
Can you do
Just hold
that
on.
for me?
Just go take the gun from the kids. They don't seem dangerous.
All right, then Eugene, can you put it down for me? Now Sean has it. Sean, can you just toss it to the side, babe? Let's make this easy.
They're like 7 and 9 or something. 7 and 10.
We want to help you.
I want to try to do a warning. Something.
We got the kid in the Star Wars shirt. He does have better trigger discipline.
Put it down, Sean.
Put a chicken nugget on a string. Oh my God.
We're you, and we want to help you, okay?
Aim it and fire.
It'd be
48.
Put it down, baby.
Much better trigger discipline. He's holding the gun down. This kid knows what he's doing.
Drop it! Drop it!
What in the fuck?
Drop it, Sean! Load another one. Load another one. Drop it now!
Now, these are the non-lethal bean bags apparently.
Drop it!
You dropped the gun! Taser, taser, taser!
Well, now they're gonna taser the kid? Are you serious? God, I hate this country.
Drop it now. Drop it, both of you.
I don't even have a gun.
I don't even have a gun.
Get over here.
1030, 1040.
Get hit!
I don't even have a gun. That was the best part.
Taser, taser, taser! Put your hands up! Close the stick! Put your hands up! Pull them up! Lock it! Hands up!
Oh, there's 20 of them with guns drawn. You know it.
Drop it, both of you.
I don't even have the gun. I don't have the gun.
Get over here.
We need good kids with guns. Ponder Monkey, Law Dog, welcome in. I was under the impression that this was a shootout with the cops. I'm kind of let down. I can't. They're handcuffing this little boy.
Now to the shocking video from New Mexico showing police officers disarming 2 young boys.
Go ahead and put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you have to drop that and come talk to us, all right?
Authorities say this video shows the standoff between New Mexico sheriff's deputies and 2 young boys.
Just put it down, babe.
In February, police were called to an Albuquerque home.
Had you heard about this, Law Dog?
They found the 7- and 9-year-old boys brandishing a loaded gun.
He does have his finger on the trigger right now.
Hey!
Put it down!
Put it
Don't
down,
do
buddy.
that!
The officers say one of the boys tried to pull the trigger multiple times, but the gun malfunctioned. Police fired a non-lethal round in their direction,
Drop it!
causing the boy to point the gun towards deputies. Moments later, officers rush in and wrestle the gun.
Well, yeah, you just shot at him. Of course he's going to try to defend himself. It's probably a stand your ground state.
Authorities say state laws prohibited them from arresting the children or removing them from their mother's custody. They say the boy's father, who is currently in jail, owns the gun and could face charges. It comes as officials are concerned over a rise in guns at schools in the area. Albuquerque Public Schools report 13 guns have been confiscated from school grounds.
Yes, charge the parents.
Police say they have been called to that home.
From my cold, tiny hands, not a stand your ground
A
state.
documented history of family trauma.
Why is a prisoner's gun not secured? That's a very good question. We just watched the standoff between police and 2 single-digit age children. Let's go to New York, where the trial of one Mr. P. Diddy Combs is underway. This was the first day.
Your story that we are following this afternoon.
Diddy on trial. Diddy did it.
Trial of music mogul Sean Combs, and witness testimony started today.
Prosecutors wasted little time introducing the jury to the now well-known video of Combs' then-girlfriend being dragged and beaten.
Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza leads our team coverage outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Mike.
Listen, David, so much happened today, and on the stand right now is a male escort named Daniel Phillip, who was allegedly paid to have sex with Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, at the Gramercy Park Hotel. He is describing in salacious and sexual detail exactly those.
You had to pay somebody to fuck Cassie? I don't understand.
Encounters, according to the prosecution. He is the second witness to take the stand today, but let's just set the scene for you, because this is quite the scene outside of the courthouse here at 500 Pearl Street. Reporters from all over the world lined up, maybe 40 or 50 cameras, even members of the public lined up as well to try to get a position to watch all of the proceedings either in person or in an overflow room inside. I mentioned just such a busy day. The jury was not seated until this morning, just before the opening statements. But as we mentioned, the most vivid and dramatic part of the day was that assault video from 2016 where Diddy was captured on video assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is here. You were inside court today. I mentioned this video. So much has been playing out and so much lead up to today on the first day of this trial. Take us through what you observed inside.
Absolutely. This morning you could see a big sigh of relief on Sean Diddy Combs' face. When he came into the courtroom, he was smiling at his attorneys, he was smiling at his family, he gave hard hands to his family. That's something that he routinely does. But then, Mike, obviously, as you know, the gravity of this case is very serious, and everything got very serious, especially this afternoon when prosecutors showed the extended full version of that hotel video. Monday morning, the gravity of the moment appeared to be setting in for Sean Diddy Combs, the 55-year-old hanging on every word as his sex trafficking and racketeering trial begins.
Obviously, this is a huge deal, and so he's just ready to have his side told in open court.
Combs, who became a cultural icon by integrating luxury and glam into hip-hop, sporting the
Because he's bad boy for life.
slacks, a sweater over a white-collared shirt, just in a different color. His mother and children in court today, seated in the second row behind the defense table. In opening statements, federal prosecutors laying out their case to the jury, saying this case is not about a celebrity's.
When he gets sent her way, I'll be missing you. I'm sorry, I'll see myself out.
Sexual abuse enabled by a trusted inner circle. Prosecutors telling the jury Combs paid $100,000 to bury the surveillance video of him beating Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles in 2016, thinking it was the only copy. The first witness, an LAPD officer working security at the Intercontinental Hotel, responding to a call for distress on the 6th floor in March 2016.
Poor Cassie.
Testifying that he
Kicked her right in the ass.
recognized Combs in the hallway wearing a towel and colored socks. This surveillance video and a separate angle played in court this afternoon, and Flores telling the jury she was saying that she wanted to get her phone, her bag, she wanted to leave, and remembering Combs telling her, "You're not going to leave." And even though the headlines over the last 9 months have been dominated by the sex trafficking and racketeering case with Sean Combs, you have to keep in mind that he is an entertainment business mogul, and you see a lot of that in court today. This morning, he came in, he had 2 spiral notebooks, and he pulled out his pens during jury selection, and this afternoon during testimony, he is seated, he is sitting back in his chair with his arms folded, his legs crossed, paying close attention to every word. Reporting live, back to you, Mike.
All right, Darla, thank you. Just interesting to see how it's all playing, not only out here, but
She's getting ready to throw back to the anchors.
inside the courtroom. Because as I mentioned earlier, the jury
What up, Batman?
until early this morning, and here we know now a lot more detail about who will be hearing this case. They include 8 men, 4 women from Manhattan, the Bronx, and Westchester, the age ranging from the 70s to 30s years old, a social worker, a lineman, and a massage therapist. So much more to get to. So we invite you to stay with Eyewitness News and ABC News as we continue to follow the latest. We are preparing a streaming special in a couple of hours at 6:30 where you can watch developments. By the way, if you want to follow along during the day, we do have a real-time running blog of all the activities.
I mean, I'm one to talk about exploitative
to hear from
content, but Jesus.
Witnesses, Cassie Ventura, to take the stand at some point, whether it be this afternoon or sometime tomorrow, as we are now coming to the end of day 1 in the Diddy trial. David and Liz will send it back.
In the Diddy trial. Michael, welcome in, my friend. In the Diddy trial. A University of Miami linebacker was apparently distraught after a crash that killed 2 kids.
Largo police confirmed that crash involved University of Miami sophomore linebacker Adarius Hayes. Now we're hearing from our sister station in Tampa who spoke to witnesses. They said that when Hayes got out of the car, he was absolutely distraught. When
College players have possibly not a fancy
For the
car.
Largo Police Department says she believes Adarius Hayes was one of the drivers involved.
I think it's tragic news for anyone to hear on Mother's Day or at any time, especially if your child is involved in something like that. It's a very difficult situation, and all you can do is...
It's still like the top of the top to get paid.
And finished the season with 4 tackles and 1 interception in his first season.
Yeah, well, obviously he's a heck of a talent. He had a good freshman year, and nothing but great things are ahead of him in the future. But a time like this, you're not really thinking about football. You're just hoping for his well-being and the other people involved in the accident.
Investigators say the tragic crash happened around 2 Saturday afternoon in Largo in the Tampa Bay area.
Casey, welcome in.
Town. Police say a Kia Soul was turning left when it collided with a Dodge Durango. A 10-year-old and a 4-year-old died at the scene, and several others were injured.
Oh, wow.
We are working to get an update on Hayes and the other people involved in the crash. Investigators do not believe alcohol was a factor. The crash is still under investigation. In Coral Gables, I'm Brianna Nussbaugh, NBC6 News.
Shut up, Lester.
Updated about breaking.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. You go out to California where surveillance footage, or nope. The woman took video apparently. Shows a knife-wielding man slash a woman's tires.
A motorist is speaking out after a man is caught on video slashing her tires at a Studio City gas station. That woman says she has filed a police report after that frightening confrontation.
KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live now in Studio City with the details. Corrine?
Well, we spoke with Gigi Gandy about that disturbing incident that happened at May 1st at this Arco gas station behind me. And take a look. She recorded that confrontation on her cell phone.
Look at it.
You can hear a man who was in another car yelling, "You're lucky I don't stab you," after he uses what appears to be a knife and begins repeatedly stabbing Gandy's car tire. You can also hear the air coming out of it.
What piece of shit.
She just stopped to get gas and noticed another driver near her visibly agitated. That's when Gandy says that man pulled in front of her car and
a woman in the car with him.
At the gas station, both of them, she said, kept looking at her and laughing. Things then got heated when one of the individuals made a U-turn in the parking lot and then flipped her off. Gandy said at that point she responded, giving the same energy by flipping him off, and that's when things escalated.
What a little puss.
Traumatized. I was shaken and I didn't know what to do. I froze.
Why do you think you were targeted like this?
It could have been possibly because I'm transgender. I don't know. I don't think you could tell just based off looks, but I do think it was definitely something that triggered it as well. But who knows what happened in his personal life before this took place.
Yeah, probably.
So there could have been some built up anger. So, you know, you never know.
And the LAPD
could have a little dick.
Now, we tried to get that cell phone, that security video rather, from the Arco gas station behind me, just to get a better look at what may have happened on May 1st.
That's also a possibility.
But they kicked us off the property. In the meantime, Gandy heard
people who get irrationally mad about trans people usually jack off to trans porn and hate themselves because of it.
Not get heard. Contact the LAPD if you recognize the man in that cell phone video. That's the very latest here in Studio City. Corrine Winter, KTLA 5 News.
That car can't be hard to find. Yep, same with racist and minority women too. We go to Is this me fucking it up again? Is this in Washington State or Washington, D.C.? This is Washington, D.C.? I've done this multiple times in the last week. Washington, D.C. This is in Washington, D.C. A woman is being held without bond for driving into a festival crowd.
A woman in Laurel will remain in jail for now. Just about 2 hours ago, a Prince George's County judge ruled Kai DeBerry Bostic be held without bond. Now, Laurel police say she drove into an officer when he tried to stop her from driving through a roadblock.
Well, that's based.
Protecting a crowd of people at Laurel's Main Street Fest Saturday morning. This is the body-worn camera footage released by police over the weekend.
How old was this woman?
Cruz was inside the courtroom in Upper Marlboro and joins us now live. Rafa, how does the families
like an 80-year-old woman that didn't understand the roads were closed?
Yeah, Leslie, Kai DeBerry Bostic's parents say the 28-year-old panicked.
28-year-old
says that it was just an unfortunate reaction to police instructions, but today a Prince George's County judge disagreed. So what led up to that video that we've all seen? Let me walk you through it. So DeBerry Bostic's lawyer says his client lives in Laurel and was told to park her car in the parking lot, and this is what transpired afterwards. Let's watch.
I apologize for the inconvenience.
What happened leading up to that video? DeBerry Bostic's lawyer says his client lives in Laurel and was told to park her car in a parking lot on Friday night and that she would be able to leave the next morning despite the road closures for the weekend Main Street Festival event. Now on Saturday, the streets were closed for the festival and DeBerry Bostic was told by police she could not leave.
You cannot move this.
Her lawyer says DeBerry Bostic was trying to get to work in Virginia that day. She's employed by a consulting firm that does work for the Department of Defense. Now, in the video, you can hear the police officer tell her to call a ride, but that he cannot let her leave. In the video, you also see DeBerry Bostic rip the police tape, defy police, and proceeded to the crowd despite the barricades.
Stop your car.
No one in the crowd was injured, but prosecutors say a police officer was. We don't know the severity of those injuries, but that was enough for a judge to determine that DeBerry Bostic is a danger to the community. The judge said this was poor
driving a Beamer.
DeBerry Bostic's parents admitted that their daughter made a mistake, but they said she panicked. Her father said
she didn't panic. She knew what she was doing.
Get out of the car.
I do. I kind of like her, yeah. But she's like, I work for the Department of Defense. Let me through.
No criminal record. She's set to be back in court in July.
Didn't hit anybody but the cop, no.
Saw today.
But she was also trying to go to work for the Department of Defense.
That she did not intend to hit anybody, and also told police she did not understand what she did wrong. We did ask for comment from her parents and her.
The road was shut down.
Would not comment on this issue today. I'm live in Upper Marlboro. Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
And you see that video, Rafa. It's amazing that no one was hurt out there. All right, thank you.
A flash, go to horny jail. I mean, I'm one to talk about horny jail, right? Oh my God, Inside Edition put Benny Hill type music under this. Why? Why did they do this? Ah, damn it. This is great. This is a man driving his moped through a pet store glass window. Whoa!
Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. A moped rider in Turkey was idling in front of a pet food store. Then they lost control of the bike and accelerated right through the store's window. A surveillance camera inside the store captured the moment the bike broke the glass. It made a loud noise and likely startled everyone involved. But reportedly, no one was injured in the incident. Meanwhile, glass doors in Texas suffered a similar fate. This time at
who drove through those?
Make that horns of a goat.
Oh shit!
First Baptist Church Mixon released images of the doors and the goat. A church staffer told KYTX that the goat saw its reflection in the doors and grew agitated. Slammed the doors.
It saw itself in the door. It got pissed off.
Breaking them in the process. Then it entered the church and ran wildly around the pews.
No, he just hates God. Mindy, welcome in.
Damage. Although a church staffer and animal control officers caught it briefly, the wily animal was able to shake them off and escape. The goat is still at large. All in all, a bad week to be a glass door.
It is Live Music Monday, and tonight we're doing Metallica. The M72 tour. We've got, it's not one total concert. We've got, they've put up like 2 or 3 videos from each of their tour stops. So we've got probably a whole set list because they are 72 years old. So Twitch people, Live Music Monday coming at you here momentarily. If you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, the podcast, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live.